Joining me now is one of the leaders of the Progressive Democrats in Congress, former presidential candidate and Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Welcome to the show this evening, Senator. Let me start with a number question, a question that you get asked all the time, but I have to ask it, sorry. Joe Manchin says 1.5 trillion is his maximum number. Senator Kyrsten Sinema says she's not going to give us a number. Joe Biden says 2 trillion maybe. Pramila Jayapal says she's not going below 3 trillion. Where does Elizabeth Warren stand on this big, never-ending Democratic Party debate over the price tag on this bill, which is over 10 years, by the way? How much are you willing to go down off 3.5 trillion over 10 years?
So let me just start with the fact that I think it's absolutely the wrong question and the wrong way to go about this. This is not the price tag, that is what the top line number is. It's what do we need to get done. And we need to get child care in America. We need to expand health care coverage in America. And we need to take a big whack at the climate crisis that is suffering all around the world. So I keep asking the question, let's just build this one from the bottom up. We know what we need. How much is it going to cost us to get there? And for everybody who says, no, we're just going to come down from 3.5, I want to say, then what are you planning to leave behind? Because there are things I'm not going to leave behind, and there are things Democrats should never leave behind.
Just to be clear, I agree with you. It's the wrong question. Sadly, both of us, we work in Washington, D.C., where it is a question that is constantly asked. And even AOC, when she was on the show last Sunday, said it was a horrible question. But she did say the low twos would be too low for her. Based on what she wants to spend, you want to spend, I would like America to spend. Would you agree the low twos won't get to where we need to get to on childcare, climate change, and the rest?
Do keep in mind where we want to get to. I think it takes about 6 trillion to get where we want to get to.
Well said.
And part of the reason for that is exactly what you pointed out at the top. And that is how many places we are so far behind. Look at the 34 other nations that make a bigger investment in their children. For everybody who saw that graph, the United States not just a little behind the rest of the world, we are way behind the rest of the world. And that has implications throughout our economy and throughout our society. So right now on childcare, if I can just focus in on that one.
Yes.
Millions of women get knocked out of the workforce during the crisis. And now what happens is they can't get back into the workforce. So 1 out of 4 women is saying, I can't go to work because I don't have childcare. That means that when these small businesses say, I can't get anybody to come work for me, big businesses say we've got kinks in our supply chain because people can't work. What do you think part of the problem is? Women who don't have childcare. So the pieces fit together. This is about investing in our children. It's about investing in our workers. It's about investing in the future of our nation. That's the fight I'm just going to keep pushing for.
So it's a good fight to keep having. We often hear you described as a progressive, Bernie Sanders called a socialist. And yet Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, your colleagues who are blocking action on climate change, want to cut funding in this bill for the climate. They are referred to as moderates. Senator, what is moderate about allowing the planet to burn?
There's nothing that's moderate. Look, for me, when we talk about these differences, I just want to be really clear about this. Increasing childcare, attacking the climate change problem, increasing the minimum wage, expanding Medicare, all of those things, the overwhelming majority of Americans want to see. And that's Democrats, Republicans, independents. A majority of America wants to see this. The progressive agenda is America's agenda. So don't tell me that throwing sand in the gears on trying to get those jobs done is somehow moderate. No. What we need in this country and what America wants across a political spectrum is for us to invest in America and, can I just throw in, make the giant corporations and the billionaires pay for it like they should.
So I will come back to paying for it in just a moment. Just very quickly on throwing sand in the gears. Senator Sinema is reportedly opposed to the provision in the bill that allows Medicare to negotiate directly with drug makers to bring down prescription drug prices. I simply do not understand how any Democrat can oppose something so necessary, so popular. A majority of Republican voters support this, unless this is purely her deferring to her big donors from Big Pharma. Have you asked her what is going on here?
I'm going to continue to fight to get this in the bill. People are pushing hard to get it in the bill. And it's exactly as you say. Our best allies in this fight are not just the other people in the United States Senate. It's people all across this nation who are sick to death, literally, of these drug companies profiteering off the fact that our federal government can't negotiate and that the prices of prescription drugs have just gone through the roof. We have a chance in this bill in the next few weeks to actually fix that problem. And that's why I'm in this fight, and so are a lot of other people.
The problem is two of your colleagues don't seem to be in the fight, and they seem to be deferring to their donors. They're also opposing higher taxes on the rich. They're joined by the 0.1 percenters on this, including Mark Cuban, Senator Warren, the billionaire Shark Tank guy who I'm sure you're familiar with. He said this on Fox Business about you. Have a listen.
In terms of taxing unrealized gains, I think that would be a disaster. I think, honestly, I don't think Elizabeth Warren knows that all what she's talking about when she deals with this. I think she just likes to demonize people that are wealthy, and that's fine.
What is your response to Mark Cuban there?
Mark Cuban's problem is not that I don't know what I'm talking about. Mark Cuban's problem is I know exactly what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is Mark Cuban and his kind need to pay their taxes. And we need to change the laws so they're not written just by the lobbyists for Mark Cuban and his buddies, so that they don't get exploited, so they don't get to take advantage of every one of the loopholes they've built in. We need to change the law. Mark Cuban needs to pay taxes. Giant corporations need to pay taxes. And you know what? We do those two things and then give the IRS enough money and the right resources to be able to go after the billionaires and giant corporations that don't pay their money. And we can pretty much pay for this infrastructure package.